Christian. This goes back to 2004. I was driving a cab, and I'll just start with this, and then I'm going to have, well, you'll get to it. It is written in the Bible, as you sow, so shall you reap.
Amen.
How true those words are. I drive a taxi. This is written in 2004. July, right, the same month. It was hot. You'll find out later. I drive a taxi. Each day, as part of my morning prayer, I recite the words from Psalm 118:24. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I also thank the Lord for the new day and ask Him to put someone in my path today that I may give them joy. When I ask, He never fails me. And when you give joy, you also receive joy. One particular day, in the middle of July, comes to mind. This lady, Kathy Sledge, and her sister get into my cab. Did I ever get blessed that day? You see, Kathy is a columnist for a big paper in Columbus, Georgia. I didn't get blessed because she wrote a column about me. No, the blessing comes from the fact that lots of readers now know that God is alive in Las Vegas.
Amen.
I didn't get blessed because she gave me a good tip, which was nice. I got blessed because the presence came into the cab when Kathy and her sister entered. If you read Kathy's column, which I'm going to read part of it, she wished for a New York cabbie. See?
Yeah.
Notice that this is me. She wished for a New York cabbie with a decent attitude. She wished or prayed, and her prayer was answered. I prayed that God would put someone in my path, and it was granted. Yes, God answers prayers, and when he was answering Kathy's and mine, you get a better feeling and understand when we say His presence was felt. Okay? Now, this is you're going to all get a copy of this, by the way. This is Kathy Sledge, and she wrote this in her column back on July 27, 2004, July 29. It was 107 degrees, and the people walking the strip in the noonday sun were not perspiring. In fact, these people looked exactly like the people we saw at midnight as our shuttle was trying to make its way to the hotel. They were staying at Caesars. No perspiration then either, as they inched along in their zombie-like state that engulfs those who've been up all night. They didn't look as if they knew where they were going, and when they looked, it didn't look as if they were going anywhere. The people were wandering, the taxis, but not their meters, were standing still. Suddenly, in the middle of the desert, I longed for New York and some decent attitude. So out of the hot and very dry desperation, I wished aloud for a New York cab driver. My wish shortly thereafter was granted, sort of, in the person of Eddie Blackwell, Bronx born and bred. Instead of attitude, however, Ed asked us if we attended church back home. My sister and I gave each other a look that communicates volumes without uttering one symbol. I'd love to take you to my church if you have the time, he said. He wasn't pushy, he wasn't preachy. He mentioned church almost in the same breath as he did other non-sexual, non-gambling things. At 68, Eddie has been around the block a few times, and he's been around the gaming tables a whole lot of times. And then I tell a whole bunch of stuff, and then you're going to read this later anyway. The mob knew small gamblers might one day become big gamblers. You win a little, you can't wait to come back, and when you win big, you'll come back faster. And then it goes into a little thing. This is everything she wrote, and then this and this and this, and we're talking about the dynamics of the Sinatra era. The mob era are gone forever, he said, but he still loves Vegas. There's a lot to see and do here. People can even have fun gambling, but too many people come with their life savings, and that breaks their mattress. Blah, 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 blah. And finally, when Ed is not ministering to the passengers in his taxi, he's doing work at his church and selling religious t-shirts on the weekends. He calls himself a strong church member and readily admits it's not always easy to be a strong church person in Sin City. Anyway, she wrote this in her paper on July 29, 2004. So the whole city of Columbus, Georgia knows that God is in Las Vegas.
Amen.
And we're still friends. On October 1st, when it happened a couple of years ago, the shooting, she called, "Are you okay?" We exchanged Christmas cards. This is over, what, 17 years ago.
Wow.
And she just called the other week. And I said, I promised to send her some stuff. And anyway, what's beautiful about it is you gotta be keeping what, and this is, my testimony is, I was preaching even in the cab.
That's
Amen.
right.
And I used to have the purpose-driven life.
Amen.
I used to have the purpose-driven life on the floor and doing conventions. Purpose-driven life could be a book about how to be a good salesman in all these conventions. So the guy said, "Are you reading that?" You know, and then I ended up giving them about 20 copies of the purpose-driven life out. So anyway, that's my testimony.
Amen.